They didn't need cameras, apps or alarms that talk to your phone. Yet, during World War II, ordinary homes were protected by a defence so effective that modern security experts still quietly recommend it today. That's not an exaggeration. It's a forgotten system born from fear, scarcity and ingenuity, designed for a world where electricity could fail, police might never come, and silence itself was a weapon. And somehow, decades later, it still works. Here's the interesting part. This wasn't about fighting intruders. It was about detecting them early, controlling movement, and turning the home itself into an active warning system. No wires, no power, just physics, psychology, and human awareness. And once you see how it worked, you'll realize how many modern homes are actually less prepared than people were in the 1940s. By the early years of World War II, the war wasn't just something happening overseas. For millions of civilians, it felt uncomfortably close. Air raids were real. Blackouts were mandatory. Spies, saboteurs and looters were a genuine concern. In Britain, parts of Europe, and even coastal regions of North America, governments warned civilians to treat their own homes as part of the defensive front. Police forces were stretched thin. Communication systems were fragile. People were told very clearly that they might be on their own, so households adapted. What emerged wasn't a single gadget or trick, but a layered home defense mindset built around one core principle. You must know someone is there before they reach you. The most effective World War II home defense wasn't a weapon. It was noise. Homes were modified to amplify sound in very specific ways. Gravel paths replaced soft soil near doors and windows. Loose stones were deliberately scattered beneath ground floor windows. Wooden porches were left slightly untreated so they would creak loudly under weight. This wasn't accidental. Civil defense manuals openly discussed how intruders move. Slowly, quietly, close to walls, always choosing the path of least resistance. Gravel destroys stealth. It shifts unpredictably. Every step produces a sharp, unmistakable crunch that carries far at night, especially during blackout conditions when ambient noise drops. The moment someone stepped onto it, the house knew. This concept is still used today in high-security compounds, temples, and even some embassies. The technology hasn't changed because the human foot hasn't changed. Now, this is where things get clever. Contrary to popular myth, World War II civilian defences avoided harmful traps. The goal wasn't injury, it was awareness. So households created trip lines, connected not to explosives or blades, but to sound. Thin cords or wires were strung low across expected entry paths, attached to hanging metal objects, glass bottles, or simple bells hidden in the dark. When disturbed, they produced noise instantly. These systems were cheap, legal, and required no maintenance. More importantly, they worked while the occupants slept. What made them effective wasn't volume alone. It was surprise. An intruder who suddenly creates noise knows they've lost control of the situation. And loss of control is often enough to make someone retreat. Modern motion sensors work on the same psychological principle. The World War II version just didn't need batteries. During wartime blackouts, light was restricted, but inside the home it became a weapon of awareness. Families practiced lighting a single lamp quickly from a known position, flooding specific areas with sudden brightness. The idea was not to illuminate everything, but to shock the eyes of someone accustomed to darkness. This technique exploited human biology. You see, night vision takes time to develop. Sudden light overwhelms it instantly. Even today, security professionals recommend controlled lighting rather than full illumination. Motion-triggered lights follow the same logic, but the World War II version relied on habit, positioning, and speed. The home itself became rehearsed terrain. Another overlooked detail was door feedback. Homes reinforced doors not just to resist force, but to make noise when disturbed. Simple metal plates, loose chains, or internal bars were added so that any attempt to open or tamper with a door created sound long before entry was possible. This meant the homeowner wasn't reacting to a breach. They were reacting to an attempt. That time difference matters. In survival terms, seconds are everything. WWII's households understood this deeply. Early warning gave them options: hide, escape, alert neighbours, or prepare to confront. Modern reinforced doors often sacrifice sound for strength. The wartime mindset valued both. Here's something rarely discussed. These systems didn't just detect intruders. They shaped behaviour. A home that crunches, creaks, rattles and responds feels alive. Intruders prefer predictable, silent environments. When every movement creates feedback, stress rises fast. WWII era defences turned homes into psychological obstacles. You couldn't test a door quietly. You couldn't walk softly. You couldn't linger. That discomfort alone prevented countless break-ins. This is why some of the most secure traditional homes in the world still use these methods. They don't rely on confrontation. They rely on deterrence through awareness. Despite all our technology, human movement really hasn't evolved. Feet still make noise. Balance still shifts, darkness still limits vision, and, surprise still triggers fear. Modern alarms often fail due to power loss, false positives, or just plain complexity. The WWII fails only if people stop paying attention. And that's the real lesson. These defences worked because, honestly, households were engaged. They knew their environment, they listened, they noticed small changes. Security wasn't outsourced, it was lived. In an age of smart devices, that mindset might be more valuable than any app. Over time, convenience replaced awareness. Homes became quieter, paths smoother, doors softer. We optimized comfort and, forgot that silence favours intruders. World War II forced people to think differently. Scarcity bred creativity. Danger sharpened observation. And in that pressure, civilians rediscovered something ancient, the home as a sensory system, not just a shelter. That idea, predates electricity by thousands of years. The war simply brought it back. This wasn't paranoia, it was practicality. The forgotten World War II home defence wasn't about fear, it was about readiness. It respected human limits and worked within them. No heroics, no exaggeration, just smart design and awareness layered together. And the reason it still works today is simple. It never relied on technology in the first place. If you found this fascinating, you're exactly the kind of person this channel was built for. Before modern times exists to uncover the ingenious practical solutions people used long before convenience took over. If you want more forgotten skills, real survival knowledge, and history that still matters today, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who appreciates the quiet brilliance of the past. And stay right here, because there's always more history waiting just beneath the surface.